Did you fancy saying something to start off?
You're gay. Knock knock. I like cock.
No, you don't.
Did you hear the news? I'm into dudes.
You're definitely not.
Oh.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have a very special guest in my sister, Sophie. So this video is going to be all about internet safety and my story, or our stories, of catfishing.
My catfish isn't as interesting.
No.
We
can't all have good catfish stories.
Mine started when I split up with my ex-partner, really. And as everyone does, go on dating websites, say to people, oh yeah, I'll speak to you and get to know and stuff. And basically I was talking to this one person, and I'm always very careful who I talk to. I show my sister photos of who I'm talking to so that like she's aware. And yeah, so this one person started chatting to him. Something didn't seem right in what they were saying. It was like as if they knew me. And yeah, basically the person had put a fake picture on there. And I asked them if they had Snapchat or if they had a mobile number that I could text, or they at least had Facebook so I could check them out and make sure that they were not cuckoo, really. And
nice way of putting
it. Well, I have had some people on there who then turned into stalkers, so that was a bit of a nightmare. That's another story though. But yeah, so
do tell.
I went on there, was talking to this girl for a little while, and yeah, she just, something didn't ring right. And I basically, like, me being me, I just started digging and stuff. And I then said to him, well, surely you've got Facebook. It's the 21st century and quite a lot of young people do have Facebook nowadays. Like, everyone I know has basically got Facebook. And they turned around and said that they didn't have Facebook. And I was like, well, obviously you do, so what's your Facebook name? This is when they then come clean and said, I'm not who I'm saying I am.
Liars.
And that's one of my pet peeves, is just people that lie. If you're truthful with me, then fine, not a problem. But if you lie to me,
I've been lying to you. I'm not who I say I am. I secretly work for the FBI.
Oh, sweet.
Cool.
But yeah, so so basically, they then told me who they were, and the reason why I kind of like got the suspicion that I knew who they were was because it was exactly the same conversation as I was having with a different profile on the dating site itself. And it turns out it was in fact that person. So,
question.
Yeah.
Why would they need to have the same conversation with you twice? Surely that gives it away.
I'm a bit picky when I'm on dating websites, so I tend to stay away from certain people when they declare certain things on dating websites. I'm not prejudiced or anything like that. It's just that I know myself from experience that I've had bad experiences with certain people of certain sexualities and stuff like that, so therefore I stay clear of it. And
so the people that you've had bad experiences with, there's a word for them.
Knobs.
I was going to say.
But yeah, so then they gave me their Facebook. I saw it was that person. I said, look, I'm really sorry, you've lied to me. I don't want to talk to you even as a friend now. I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, if they can lie to me once, and can they lie to me again? Like, are they actually who they say they are? Are they someone who's more vindictive? Like, you don't know really with dating websites who you are talking to, but there are success stories out there. My sister's one of them. And also me and my partner now are. It's just a matter of like making sure that when you are on them, just be wary about obviously who you're talking to, and make sure you tell someone who you are talking to. Unlike Dipwit here, who didn't tell anyone really except from his friends.
I did tell people. I just didn't. I told people who I was talking to. Everyone knew.
He told
Who
his,
I
he told
thought
his,
I
he
was
told
talking
his
to.
friends, but in regards to family, he didn't, because he knew that we would all ripped him and told him.
Bear in mind, this happened before I knew you.
Yeah, but we would all ripped him.
No, my family did actually know.
Oh.
Everybody knew.
Well, I'm still going to rip him because it's quite funny that
She's not had the chance to rip me
Yeah.
yet, so.
He's very innocent, and he sent a picture of his doodah to someone.
I am not particularly that dumb anymore. I wouldn't do that again.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yeah, I learnt my lesson on that one. I just got very lucky, like incredibly lucky.
It is lucky.
My story is that I thought I was talking to a celebrity. I told you this, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you who it was?
No.
Okay. So basically, if we go right back to the beginning, I was an absolute Disney Channel freak. I used to come home from school and I used to watch Disney Channel all the time. And then one day there was a program which came on with a celebrity I quite fancied. And at the time, I think I was I must have been about 11. I think I was about 11 when it came out. So it was on Bebo, that's how long ago it was. So there was no real anything about internet safety at the time, because internet was quite new for social media back then. So I was adamant that I could find this particular celebrity's private Bebo. I didn't. I never did. But, I mean, I might have done, but I didn't know that was them. So the celebrity was Miley Cyrus.
Of all people.
Of all people, yeah. So it actually went on for about 2 or 3 years. So it started off as... it was actually ended up being somebody that I'd been talking to for most of the time. That ended up actually being the Catfish, which is quite funny. But no, the Catfish was not a 40-odd-year-old man. Like most people, everybody said to me, it's a 40-odd-year-old man, it's a 40-odd-year-old man. It wasn't. It was a 16-year-old. At the time I was 16, she was 16 as well, so she was roughly the same age as me. From the UK. I'm not going to specify which part of the UK, but she was from the UK. I'd been talking to her for most of the time, and then basically there was a whole lot that went down. They got the police involved, because basically I did one of the biggest sins of using the internet, and I may have taken a picture of and sent it to them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't know most of this story. So, yeah, so I took a picture of it, sent it to them, and I didn't think anything of it. There wasn't my face in it. It was literally just
you do
that area, yeah. And that was not very pleasant when I found out that was actually somebody else. That was not the greatest experience, but you know, you live and you learn from it, I suppose. And basically, I mean, I suppose it's lucky it was only a 16-year-old girl and not a 40-year-old man.
Good, right? Yeah.
That'd be weird.
Luckily, that'd be more than weird, though.
Yeah. Luckily, though, I did have enough sense to not have my face in it. Otherwise, they could have used it for blackmail or anything, but they couldn't really do that because there was no evidence linking it to me. And the problem is, this was way before the Snapchat days, so it wasn't like I could send it and then it disappear after 10 seconds. I can't remember what I used to send it on.
But if you are sending stuff on Snapchat, make sure you trust the person, because they can screenshot it.
Just don't send it.
Just make sure you fully trust the person.
Yeah, that's a big thing. What else happened? There was a lot of stuff that went down. I lost a lot of friends over it. I turned my back on a lot of friends over it. I ended up actually making about 2 weeks before it got found out, I ended up making a bet with my friends. I was like, oh yeah, I bet you any money it is her. and I was obviously wrong. And we bet, there was 4 of them that bet against me, and I technically still owe each of them a tenner, because that was the
Let's
bet.
hope they're not watching.
Well, 2 of them, I think Sam was one of them. I can't remember who the other ones were. I can't actually remember who it was, but they've probably forgotten about it now anyway. There's a lot of editing of ums and ahs. That's what that'll be anyway. So basically, the story of how it all went down. I told. Oh no, yes, that's another thing I need to mention as well. The reason why I believed it. If Bebo was still active, and you look through my account, you would see a ton of fake accounts, a ton of the catfish, I suppose. And they basically, I would go through all of them, I would talk to them, and most of them I would be like, well, they're definitely fake, move on. This one, I think the main reason why I did believe this one is because every time they would find out where she went, they would then be active in that time zone. So if she was in America, they would stay awake until like 2 o'clock in the morning. Bear in mind they lived in the UK as well, and they still went to school, and they would be active in the UK at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, okay, well this must be, somebody who actually lives in America at least. But then she went to Australia. I remember that specifically, and I remember using this as a reason why it was her, and that's because when she was in Australia, the catfish stayed awake in the Australian time zone, so it's as if, because I remember doing the maths and being like, okay, well it's this time in Australia at this point, so that must be real. Obviously it turned out not to be the case at all, but luckily I didn't do anything too stupid where they could blackmail me or anything like that. But I've learnt my lessons. I'm probably not going to meet anybody online these days unless I know it's who they are. Yeah. So basically when it all went down, the police got involved because I told one of my friends that, obviously about the picture that I sent. They then told their mum, oh no, I told one of my friends who then told our other friends, and then our other friend told their mum, and their mum then called my mum. I ended up getting grounded for 2 weeks, tried to run away. It's a long, complicated story, because I ended up basically messaging the person being like, my parents are getting the police involved, which luckily they did, and luckily I did, and then that person came clean. But they said it wasn't them the whole time, it was their friend who ended up then blackmailing them to carry on. So it was complicated, but basically the moral of the story is, don't go searching for celebrities. Private ones, because chances are you're not going to actually find them, because it's very unusual, I suppose, for celebrities to actually have private account. And even if they do, it's private for a reason. The only people that they're going to be talking to is their friends. And even with regular people, unless they're willing to show their face, and you know that they are who they say they are, just don't push them. Just be like, I suppose just don't really meet people online. I suppose that's the main thing.
I think it's not about meeting people online. I think it's more about like knowing it's definitely that person you're talking to, and making people aware of what you're doing online. So if you
even still, though, there is that element of danger. But like there could be anybody really, though. Even meeting them, even if that they do look like what they say, they could still be anybody.
And if you are going to meet them, then make sure someone's aware of where you are.
And also, better yet, make sure you take someone with you.
Yeah.
Say if you're going to an entirely new city. When I went to London last year to meet YouTubers, I took Sophie with me. And in fact, to the day of this video coming out, it will be a year since the first day. So That was fun.
That was fun time. Except
That
for when we
was a
got
fun
lost.
weekend. It's your fault. You panicked me. I knew where I was going, but then you panicked me.
You didn't know where you were going.
I did know where I was going.
You didn't.
I did. I looked it up before.
You didn't.
And then you started making me question it.
You didn't.
I did.
You didn't.
I definitely did. You do know I'm keeping this in the video, right?
Oh dear. You didn't.
I did.
You said categorically. I can't say the word.
Categorically.
Yeah, but you said to me that you definitely knew where we were going. I took that as you definitely knew where we were going, so I trusted you. We got there. I don't know where I'm going, Sophie. I don't know where I'm going.
No, I knew where I was going. It just looked different when you're actually there.
It's when we were at Westfields.
Oh yeah, no, Westfields. I knew where we had to get to.
Yeah,
I
you
just
didn't know how to
didn't
get
know.
there.
I just didn't know where we had to catch the bus.
And it was a massive shopping centre.
Yes, that was fun.
So
Anyway,
moral of the story is don't trust cats.
no, I know where the bus stop is difficult to find because it's not actually at the bus station.
No, it's not. It's
Otherwise,
confusing,
it would have
but-
been very easy to find. But anyway, so
I
just
can't
put it in,
wait.
just to put it into perspective. I thought this person here was willing to date this person here.
Fine.
Yeah. So anyway, here's the tips, I suppose, for internet safety. We've probably gone over a lot of them, but I thought we would do it now. How do you stay safe online?
I always make sure that I tell someone who I'm talking to. If you are on a computer and you are of a persuasive nature, where you are easily persuading stuff to do stuff, make sure that someone is aware of what you are doing on the computer. Don't just like shut yourself away. Always have it as an open communication with you, your friends and family when it comes to online stuff.
Yes, for me, obviously I use dating apps. I haven't used any, or I don't really tend to use them as much anymore, mostly because I am actually into somebody, but but when you do use them, probably best to make sure that they're okay with you messaging them. So wait for them to. One of the things I've done is, if people have their Snapchats on their profile, I won't generally tend to wait for them to swipe right. I'll just start a conversation with them on Snapchat anyway. A lot of people don't tend to like that, even though they put their Snapchats on there.
They've got to expect if they put it on there. If they put it on there, then surely they know that they're going to be added and snapped and stuff.
Yeah, but they don't really tend to think about that. They're like, well, who are you? How did you get it? And I'm like, well, you put it on Snapchat, so I'm assuming that you are open to a conversation. But generally, just, I suppose, don't do that. You can if you want. If they've got it on there, then they should expect it. But that's another thing. If you don't want people to add you on a certain social media, don't put your Snapchat on there, because that's just asking for people to add you.
Also, be careful what data you do share online.
Yep.
A family member, I'm not going to say who, but basically they are a child, and unfortunately they did put their address online to a YouTuber who they absolutely adore, and it just...
Was it public?
It was public that they put it on there. Obviously, anything can happen if you put your address, your phone number, anything like that, especially your name online. So be careful who you're sharing your personal data with as well.
See, I didn't know that one. You never mentioned that one. But, generally, just don't send pictures of your
Or vagina, or tits.
yeah. Keep your private parts private.
Yeah.
I suppose that's good advice for anything, really.
Yeah. If you don't want someone to see it in real life, like if you wouldn't walk down the street with that bit of your body out, then don't send it in pictures.
And if you would walk down the street with it hanging out, still don't send it in pictures. And just reevaluate your life, I suppose. There's a reason they're called private parts. The only people who're supposed to be seeing them are you and your partner, or partners, and some people are like that.
Yeah.
as well as don't send pictures of anything like that. Just don't be a dick either. That's another thing.
Yeah, just don't lie.
So I suppose we better wrap it up. Before I go though, thank you to everybody who's been watching my videos. I worked out I have had 22 hours of watch time in the first month of doing YouTube. So that to me seems like a very good number. That is across 2 channels, and obviously I've been doing multiple videos a week, but that's still 22 hours of my videos being watched. Which is, for a first month,
That's actually really good.
Yeah. I'm very happy with that. I know obviously a lot of it is people, I've been telling people, watch my videos, but even still, thank you. There's been like 10, 11 hours watched on each channel. So
And also they had the choice to watch it or not, so
that is true.
that's a big thing to say as well.
Yeah. So thank you very much to everybody who's watched. I've also had some good feedback on several of my videos as well, so thank you for that. Please, before you go off this video, please go subscribe to my second channel, which is my gaming channel. That's obviously, if you're into gaming, it would be so cool to have more subscribers and more people watching my videos. And I think that's everything.
And also, give him some advice on games to play. Because it's
Yes.
struggling with games that people may want to watch.
Yes, the ones I'm playing at the moment, I don't think many people want to watch that. So I don't know which series to do.
But just give us some advice. Well, give Kat some advice.
Yeah, please do. And in the meantime, I will see you next time.